Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rochester, where we're still in the top 4 of the Just Games Store Championship. This is Tim here.
And I'm Chris.
And we've got myself, Tim, on the left, playing Engineering the Future, and Josh on the right, again, playing Whizzard.
So we saw Josh in the last round. Pretty much what we would expect from a Whizzard build these days. I didn't see any sneaky one-of includes or anything like that.
No, it looked like standard stuff.
There might be something. Who
knows?
And we've got you playing ETF again.
Yes.
So, against pretty par for the course in terms of matchup this day.
Which actually, surprisingly, Sean and I were the only two Engineering the Future at this tournament.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we were the only two HBU. We both made the top 4, so that was pretty cool.
Strange.
Yeah. And we actually, in terms of IDs and factions across the whole tournament, we had a pretty even spread in general amongst the factions. But the finals were very heavily Anarch, and 2 of the 4 were HB, so it's kind of interesting.
So Josh getting the early start of the data sucker, running around, checking things out. That's a good thing to get rid of.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. And it looks like I have also another Trashable in hand, and I just didn't have the ice. Oh, and Wildside turn 1, so this is going to be hard mode.
But on the flip side, Josh is down to 2 credits.
Yes, that is true.
So unless his next turn, I mean, if he's got a career fair in hand, that's ideal. But his next turn, it might involve some clicking for credits.
Yeah, that's true.
Might buy you some time back.
Yep.
Because Whizzard has a lot of money cards, but other than career fairing out something like a Liberated, it's hard to come back from 1 or 2 credits.
Yeah, exactly. And so just Jacksoning through my hand, and really at this point I need some ice to just shut off his data suckers, and immediately goes around those Jacksons, which is, of course, good practice. But even though, I'm not doing a ton with Jackson so far, but it does get me back to Breaker Bay, which he's trashed, which is handy. And this was Ghoda, and so Museum was live, but I was not using it. But getting a quasi-museum effect here.
Quasi-museum. I mean, Breaker Bay is especially good in this matchup because you're never going to be able to totally beat Whizzard on the race of assets, but it makes it less awful for you.
Yes, it swings it so it's more even.
Yeah.
That it's, a credit neutral thing instead of I've invested and then he blows it up.
Exactly.
And so I'm sitting on pretty good money. It looks like there's a couple ice in hand.
Got to throw something in front of me HQ soon,
yeah,
I'm sure.
I can't tell exactly what. So at this particular tournament, I think I was, as we said last game, I wasn't on the Vikram train yet. So I think I was still running Itchy 2.0, which is expensive and clickable. So that might be some of the ice I have in hand. And again, still leaving HQ open. Again, though, if there's nothing in hand, Archives is open, so it's sort of equivalent. You see the Faust comes down.
Going to check it. No money, though. If it's an Eve, he's going to be sad.
Yes, that would be marvelous. And it's Turing.
Okay. So if you're rezzing that, I'm assuming it's not Eve behind there. It's something that he could trash for his Whizzard credits. Information. Powerful.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it's an agenda.
Yeah. And that would be essentially just betting that he doesn't have David, I suppose.
Yeah. Considering you dropped Faust this turn, he might have had both in hand, and sometimes you got to gamble. Ditching the blast screen to get through.
And that's a wall of static.
All right. Is this the sneaky ABT?
No.
No.
Oh.
Must be Breaker Bray or something
Yeah, it's
like
probably,
that.
some kind of... Something for later.
I'm not sure you would throw down Ash this soon.
Yeah, no, because there's a risk that if that is David, he gets in, trashes it, and... I think there was 2 Ash in this deck, so losing 1 is a little bit of a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have to control R&D. And at this tournament I was playing a version of this deck that had 2 Caprice in there, and so I actually didn't have any Eli's in the deck. So I had Wall of Static instead, which isn't clickable for the knife, but it's much more susceptible to just getting broken a bunch by Faust because you can get it through it with 1 card when you have Data Sucker out.
Yeah.
So I have since changed away from that, but that was the reasoning anyhow.
It's tough calls. Most Wanderless doing its job.
Yeah.
He's used the Biotic. So you're playing 1 Biotic in here?
I think I had 2 Biotic in here. So I take out the the second CVS and the second Archive Memories to put in 2 biotics.
Okay. It's nice. I mean, sometimes you just need it to close the game out.
Yeah, exactly.
Wizard against a lot of...
You hit a point where you're just locked on the remote. You can't score anything through it. You've got to just score from hand. And also I like it against Whizzard too is that you can use it sometimes to just fire ABTs from hand and then get the ice out. Okay, so we saw an install in advance. I think that was the advanced concept hopper that I threw down there.
Okay.
Which was in the Ghoda pack. So that's the one where every time they make a run, you get either a credit or a card.
Right. First time each turn, right?
Yes, first time each turn.
That was super trendy for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, until Democracy and Dogma came out and gave us the corporate sales team.
Yeah, so now it's like, ooh, why?
Yeah,
Why?
You have to really want the cards instead of the money. So I do score it. So getting it as the first agenda is actually pretty good because it's going to churn out a fair bit of money.
This is great for you. Arguably, this is better than corporate sales team in this specific instance. Maybe.
Yeah, because if it'll run 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the game is more than 10 more rounds,
yes,
you are glad to have it.
Yes. Yeah, because I don't think, spoiler alerts, I don't think I ever drew off of the advanced concept hopper.
That's been my experience. Maybe like 1 every 10 times you draw.
Yeah.
All right. Josh is kind of...
Okay, so I do have
fucking along.
The beta test in hand. So I can either try to smack it into the remote and go for it that way. I have the biotic that I can do it that way as well. And I choose to do neither.
Interesting. I mean, at 9 credits, I can't really blame you. Biotic is very risky here. And at this point, you gotta assume he has a David. Yeah. So if I'm building up that remote, trying to throw another piece of ice in front of there, so you can't just David.
Yeah, and it looks like I may have installed the agenda, actually. Yeah, it looks like I did.
You gotta click left for a piece of ice. Ooh, you throw the eval. Okay. So maybe you throw the agenda there and hoping that since you threw another thing, he's thinking it's 2 money.
Yeah, cards. And just, again, there's usually 2 David in the deck. He's been drawing pretty steadily. But there's, a fair chance that he hasn't drawn one of the Davids, in which case that's safe, although he also has a lot of data suckers, so that's another way he can get in there, is run a central once, Parasite, run it.
Yeah. It's a risky play, but maybe it's just crazy enough to work.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the kind of thing is you have to make some risky plays against this Wizard deck.
Yeah.
Because if you just play everything by the book, he'll grind you out.
For sure. Okay, so he's just getting set up, getting some drip econ, finally getting his 4th click back, and you score out the ABT.
Yeah, he lets it through, and considering whether to fire.
Ooh, this is...
So we've seen, I have 3 ice played.
I mean...
That looks like I'm not going for it. I have 3 ice in play, and I think only 1 in hand. Like, the odds are fair here.
The odds are fair, but there's no reason... You have such an advantage here.
Yeah, there's no reason to do it.
You draw 1 or 2 more pieces of ice, I think you've got this pretty much locked.
Yeah. Yeah, because at this point, I just need to score a global food, and you just need to make 1 window for that to happen. But yeah, he does have the engine up, Wildside, Chronotype, Data Suckers, Faust... All we need is a David, and we're full Anarch. Okay, knife. So, assuming he can break the front thing with Faust, I think he also... Does he have a Parasite on hand as well?
He's the other clone chip on the board. I imagine he has a Parasite.
Yeah, he must.
He hasn't used... Has he used one yet? Even if he hasn't, I bet he has ditched one.
Yeah, he's got... So, I'm assuming there's some way he can... So I do not res there, and so yeah, he Fausts on through wall of static, which kills it.
Oh, Faust with Faust,
double Faust. And Whizzard, another Breaker Bay goes down.
You get $1 from Concept Hopper though.
Woo-wee!
Almost.
Do I remember? Do I remember it?
I don't know.
Oh no!
It doesn't seem like it.
Oh no! Now I'm remembering it.
Do.
Hey, all right, hoppers.
Those new cards.
And that's Eve. Which he chooses not to trash because he doesn't have his Wizard credits up. Actually, he can't trash. But again, it doesn't make any sense for me to res it because then next turn he'll just trash it, and it's a net loss for me.
Yeah.
And we see him running in on his last click. And so I res Ishi, but there was a Parasite there, and I had missed that a Parasite had been discarded earlier in the game, so that's why I res the Ichi. And he gleefully clone chips a Parasite on, blows it up, and now things are very bad.
Wizard doing Wizard things.
Wizard doing the whiz.
Yeah.
And it's an agenda. So that's about as bad as it can go there.
Josh, that was a good turn.
Pretty good.
2 accesses, a trash, an agenda, 2 ice is in the trash.
Mm-hmm. And so that's, we see how quick the game can swing with the Whizzard deck.
Mm-hmm.
And so defending R&D again, throwing something in the remote. So likely some kind of econ asset. Because even if that is an agenda, I can't, if I spend my next turn scoring it out, great, that puts me to 6 points. But then he's just going to rip open R&D. So
this is, you got to take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that. He's putting a lot of pressure on, but you have a chance to kind of get ahead again. You're ahead on points.
Yeah.
You're both low on money, which is a little bit better for ETF than Whizzard right now.
Right, because I can make it back easier, and I can just kind of sit and wait for a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, with the double data suckers up and me not affording ice, he's going to be able to parasite things pretty rapidly.
Yeah, this is rough.
Yeah, this is the tough point. And again, this is where having those Ichi 2s instead of a Vikram or some other cheaper ice hurt quite a bit. Okay, so IQ. But again, he's got so many data suckers that he'll be able to break it with Faust, and he'll get two of them back.
I mean, I think it's just at 3 strength right now, right?
Yeah, so it just slows him down a little bit, I guess, at this point. And, I mean, it's kind of questionable whether or not to res it there, I think.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do there.
Yeah.
If you don't res it, he runs R&D 3 times.
True, yeah. And he's Whizzard. There's a lot of trashables in this deck, so he's going to be getting a lot of access. So debating whether or not he breaks. So he does not, which tells me he probably has some way to kill it in hand. And yep, there's Spooned. So Josh, in my opinion, is playing this deck correctly. He's using all of his ice destruction. He's not just throwing a ton of cards away to Faust, which is a way you can kind of go wrong with this deck. And yeah, trashes Jackson. So we've got one Jackson popped. He's trashed one.
And that's exactly why you run early with this deck. Hit the end of the run, bounce, and go back to destroy it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to pay for that twice. That's crazy.
Yeah. Paying to break ice? What are we, core set runners? Yeah, and so this is when it starts to feel really bad as the corp. Is you can only afford to really res one ice a turn, and he's going to destroy pretty much every piece of ice you res.
This is tough for you, dude. So do you have in your mind an out right now, or are you just fingers crossed?
So I know I have the Biotic in hand. So my hope is to try to just kind of Biotic stuff out. Because I know this remote is not secure because he has enough data suckers. David is going to be coming. That I need to somehow float one agenda and then Biotic the other one out. It was kind of my game plan. Because I didn't think I would be able to create a window to score the global food out. And so I'm assuming I'm going to have 2 scores. And so actually, seeing me Ice Archives makes me think that a Purge is probably coming soon, and that's fairly cheap ice on the Centrals. But again, I'm going to have to res all 3 Central pieces of ice in order to completely lock it out, and I just don't have the money for that. And here comes Medium.
Yeah, this is rough.
So it is Turing, though.
All right, well, that's good for now, but if he's got a Parasite in hand on chip, it's done.
Right.
Turing on R&D, though, good play.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. So he's taking pause there. Okay. So just taking some time to gain some money.
All right.
So I've kept him out for now.
Tim, dig for ice, put it in front of Turing.
Yes. Protect the Turing at all costs.
You got to do it. I see an Archive Memories in there.
Archive Memories there.
Of ice.
Yeah. Thinking about it here. And I don't remember. I can't remember if I know. Not sure if I put an agenda into that remote. And then I'm thinking about scoring it.
Just taking the risk.
Yeah. So it looked like one of those was a Caprice.
That card has been sitting there for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's one that's been sitting there for a while. Okay, so draw the Baker Bay. That'll likely go on the remote. But again, I think, you need to just defend R&D stronger here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do dump into the remote. I think that Caprice. And Yeah, this is risky. Just hoping that he doesn't have Parasite or Clone Chip. And I've had worse to draw for it.
He's going to hit it.
He's going to hit it eventually. And so, yeah, that's a risky play there, just leaving only Turing on R&D. And yeah, there's the Clone Chip. And here we go.
Does he have memory, though?
Oh, he doesn't, actually.
So this is interesting.
So, yeah,
I mean, he could overwrite
one of the data suckers. And then... And
Oh,
so I'm
do you have a
looking to see if
CVS?
I have CVS, or at least pretending like I have CVS to make him think about it.
Let's see if he catches that he has to overwrite.
I believe he does here. So he does a pretty clever play here, is he brings it down first and then overwrites with the Parasite, so he doesn't have to spend real data sucker counters, so to speak.
That makes sense.
And then it begins.
It's a medium counter. Here we go.
All right, R&D's got to hold up here. Whizzard. Trash. Go again. Yeah, now it's just racing on R&D. And I can't purge because I don't have... That gives him just another turn of medium. Yeah. So I have to get ice there that is resilient to Faust. Because he has used 2 clone chips now, I think?
I believe so.
Yeah, and so in most Wizard decks, that's all of the clone chips. So he'll only have the Parasite from hand if I can get another Turing onto R&D.
Do you have the Swordsman?
No, I don't have Swordsman.
That would be the play.
Yeah, that's...
But no, of course not. No. I mean, you throw down one piece of ice. If you've got 2 cheap ice, that's great. If not...
More into the remote. So, based on the number that are in there, one of those has to be an agenda at this point. I'm guessing, because it's Breaker Bay, Ash Caprice, agenda. I'm guessing.
Unless it's an Adonis.
Yeah, that could be an Adonis in there. That's true.
Just to
try to get him to go somewhere that isn't R&D.
Yeah, I mean, he's only on 3 credits, so he really can't do much in terms of trashing that whole thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh, Architect.
It is Architect, so I mean that's cards at the very least. It restricts the number of times per turn he can hit R&D.
Can't blow it up.
Yeah, so he'll actually have to break it. We haven't seen Mimic come out yet. But with Wild Side up and him not really looking to play any other cards, he's kind of got what he needs. He can just do this, 3 times a turn if he wants to. Or 3 times this turn and then, recover for a bit. And
1 card, 2 cards, and third.
So that's something that gets trashes. Oh, wow. So no agendas.
Wow.
So if I were Josh, we can see I don't have agendas in hand, but if I were Josh, this would make me think that there are agendas either in that remote or in hand.
Yeah. At this point.
Yeah, at this point.
How many clicks does he have left?
It looks like he has...
3? That might have been first click.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. So take money, go back?
Yeah, I mean...
Or maybe if he has a David in hand, take money and then go and destroy everything.
Yeah, just trash the entire remote. Although he's used his Wizard credits already this turn.
Oh, that's true.
So drawing.
Yeah,
and then Career Fairs is a daily cast, so get monies back up. Yeah, the agenda isn't on the top of R&D, and if that is something in the remote and I go to score it, he'll then just medium a bunch. So I really need some ice for R&D. And something that won't just immediately die to Parasite.
Yeah.
7 credits.
I mean, do you have a piece of ice in mind that you're digging for? All your turns are accounted for.
Yeah, so I mean, another Architect would be pretty nice. Since we haven't seen Mimic, that makes it so you can only really go in once a turn.
That'd be cool.
Which, with a lot of medium counters is enough, but it at least gives me a shot here. Mm-hmm. And actually, yeah, I guess Ichi would be pretty good too. Anything that's going to take either a lot of clicks or a lot of cards.
Mm-hmm. Well, you break even on the install. Pass it over.
So what does he get? Okay, so there's the David. I mean, it had to come eventually.
This is where, he's going for R&D.
Oh, okay.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well cover your bases. You have the money, you have the memory. And it's just another Wall of Static, which is unfortunately just 1 card. with the data sucker up.
If I'm Josh here, I would consider bouncing and then going into the remote.
Yeah, that's true. Now that he has David. Unless
through.
he's got, knifed or something in hand. I've had worse.
Oh, maybe he's digging for spoons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. To just destroy it instead of having to waste a David counter on it. Oh, he's knifing.
He's knifing.
Okay. Yeah, because on the remote, if there's not an agenda somewhere in that pile in the remote, he's spending, potentially a lot of money to trash all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see the break. That I think is his last parasite.
Okay, for 4 cards.
4 cards. He's on 2
damn.
points. This is ugly. This is no good. I'm not liking this.
There's a steal.
There's a steal. Hold.
Nothing.
Hold.
Nothing.
Okay, so we live to fight another day.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
That was a Cyberdex.
CVS.
It's Cyberdex.
That's huge.
Okay, the game just flipped on its head.
That is so huge, and that's why you play that card.
Yeah, even if you're not trying to fast advance,
Here's
play
the
that
thing,
card,
though.
man.
He gets a fresh card next turn.
That is because he stole 2, trashed
one,
that,
and you drew 1.
and I drew 1. So that's true. So you would have loved to have not have one of those been an agenda, because then it gives me a turn.
But with no suckers and CVS and archives.
Yeah, that's true. If I can res this HQ ice, I have bought myself a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think here's the thing though. Now he's got to check that remote.
Yeah, there's like no reason not to. On 6 points, you might as well. Okay, so he does run HQ, trying to build back data suckers, so I have... Unless it makes me not able to res the R&D ice, I suppose, too.
Yeah, I think he's wise to run HQ first. Because either he gets the token or he gets into R&D pretty easy.
Sees the biotic. So unfortunately, yeah, he has seen that I have biotic, so I can't do the play of, install advance into a remote and then score global food, although that's, not an option anymore, but it eliminates that entirely. So it's just an enigma, which he can break with Faust.
With the sucker token here, he needs either 4 cards or 3 cards and lose the click.
To see 1 card, but it's a fresh card.
It's probably... I don't know. Is it worth it?
Yeah. Or just wait until next turn when you can do it in a more advantageous way?
I mean, he can't blow up the architect. If he has a spooned...
Yeah, or a parasite or something.
Or a parasite, yeah, be worth it to end the run and take care of that next turn.
So loses the click.
Yeah, and let's
just,
end the run.
takes money.
Takes $4.
Okay. Yeah, because at this point, there's no way I can win the game on this turn.
No.
So he knows he has time. He's on 6 points. All of the pressure is on me.
Question is, what do you do here?
I know, there's no agendas in hand, so R&D is going to cough something up. Okay, so one of those was an agenda.
Woo!
And I have to go for it at this point.
Oh, man.
So this makes it so if I can get into money before he wins on R&D, I can biotic something for the win.
Yeah. He's almost out of cards.
Yeah.
He's got a levy now.
So can you levy here? Do you have I think you have the time probably? Because I don't have the money for the fast advance win.
He has at least 1 turn.
Yes.
I don't know how you could do it in
No, I don't think there is.
I think he has 2 turns.
No, I think he probably, because even if he runs, that gives me a credit for the hopper. I take 3. I can do it he has 2 turns, essentially. I can't do it next turn, but I could the turn after that.
If you were to install an Adonis onto that breaker bay, you would have enough money.
Yeah.
On the following turn.
On the following turn.
So still 2 turns.
Yeah, so still, I can't win the next turn no matter what. So he has time to build a little bit. Oh, and there's the parasite. Oh, but again, he's going to have to overwrite something, which at this point is probably would have to be David, which then gives me the remote back.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, he does do David. I mean, not only does he give you the remote back, if you have any big ice, you throw it on R&D and you lock it back out.
Exactly.
Although
he now has an access here.
Where's his turntable, man?
I know. Wild side, yep. So this will be 3 cards now since he doesn't have data suckers. And he's can't fork the architect.
For 1 card?
And that's
Steal.
it. That's the food.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Whew.
Almost made a game of it there.
I mean, you were looking pretty good there. Had that been a whiff?
Oh, and and it wasn't another agenda for a long time.
Yeah. Had you missed that one, you would have been in.
I would have had the time to make the money
shape.
for the fast advance.
Yeah. But well played, Josh.
Yeah, very well played on his part.
And all right.
And he ends up taking the win and moving on along. And unfortunately, I had to get going at this point. I got knocked out of the top 4, so we do not have the remaining rounds of the top 4. I'm sorry about that. Sean, who we saw in the last round, ended up winning. He was facing Marcus in the finals, who we didn't manage to get on camera here, who was playing a very cool Blue Sun deck that was really heavily teched against Anarch. So he ended up going into the 2nd seed. Sean beat him out in the finals to take the victory. And so thanks for watching all these games. We'll have another Store Champs worth of games coming. And then if you are watching this before April 30th of 2016, we've got a regional coming up in Rochester. So we will certainly have video from that as well. So keep it tuned here, guys.
All right. Thanks for watching.
I'll catch you next time. Bye.